Hey guys, so today we are starting equivalent expressions. So we haven't done this yet, but it's basically taking words and putting it into a mathematical expression. Um, I know that sounds weird, but we're going to go through the notes, and as I fill in the blanks, make sure you fill in them too. So it says, how do we translate sentences to expressions and equations? In addition to the words, it's going to say, in addition to the words, plus, minus, divide, multiply, and equal, we often we are often presented with other phrases that describe these same mathematical operations. Same mathematical operations. So below is a chart of the most common. So as I'm going, if you need more time, just pause the video and then move on. So here are the most common. So the sum of A and B means to add A plus B. And the order you do these, it matters. So the next one says B is added to dot, dot, dot. So B is added to any number means you're adding B after it. So whatever the dot, dot, dot is would go here. And then you're adding B at the end of it. The difference between A and B is A minus B. Same thing if it says B is subtracted from A. Whenever you see subtracted from, it's always backwards. I don't know why, that's just how it is. So you do A minus B. So if you were to say 5 is subtracted from 10, it'd be 10 minus 5. Okay, we know product means multiply. B times or B of would be B with multiply. You're multiplying B times something. The quotient might be a new word to you. Quotient is just fancy for division. So the quotient of A and B means it's A divided by B, or you can write A slash B, so it's a fraction, put A on top and B on the bottom. And the last one is the result is, whenever you see is an equal sign. So next page. Okay, on the next page of the notes, it says to translate verbal descriptions of mathematical operations. These are your steps. Okay, so if you want to, write the word steps up top. These are your steps. First, you need to identify any key words. Any key words or phrases that indicate an operation. Step 2 is to combine the individual operations into an expression or equation. So expression is what goes in the blank. So next we're going to do some examples. So it says the quotient of 48 and 8. So remember, quotient means division, and then you go in the same order we have here. So you can write it as 48 divided by 8, or you can write it as 48 over 8. Because remember, this bar right here means division. Okay, next it says the product of 4 and a number is 64. Okay, so product means we are going to multiply. And remember, we like to use a little dot for multiplication. You can use an X if you want. We prefer the dot though. So it says the product of 4 and a number is 64. Well, when we don't know what the number is, we like to use a variable, which is a letter, and the most common letter is going to be X. Is means equals, and then 64. So now that I kind of have all my little notes on the phrase, I'm going to write it out to be mathematical. So it says the product of 4 and a number, which means we're multiplying 4 and X. So it's going to be 4 times X is 64. So is equals and 64. And that's it. That's your final answer for your second example. And then this was your first one. Okay, next, you guys have 3 problems to try. So pause this video and you try these 3 problems. Remember, it's okay if they're not right, but I at least want you to try and at least write out what you think it is, everything you know about the problem, like what do the words mean. And when you finish doing those 3 problems, unpause the video. So by now, since you are playing this video again, you should have already paused it and you should have done these 3 problems. So it says, number 1, the product of 6 and 7. So the first thing you need to know is, what does the word product mean? Product means you're multiplying 6 and 7. So you have to do 6 times 7. And for these, you are just writing them. You're not actually working out the math. So 6 times 7 is your answer. Next, it says, number 2, the quotient of 15 and 3. So you have to figure out what quotient means. So remember, that's just fancy for saying division. So put your little division sign above. 15 and 3, you have to do it in that order. So it'd be 15 divided by 3. Or if you wrote it as a fraction because you're feeling fancy, it'd be 15 over 3, like that. So either one of these is correct. Just know you'll see it both ways. You have to recognize that you can write it either way. Lastly, number 3 says the sum of y and 3. So now we have the word sum. So sum is addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. When you have the sum of something, it is addition. So the sum of 11 and y, make sure you keep it in the same order, 11 plus y. Sum, quotient, and product are not any of the words that make you write it backwards. So you just keep the order the same way. Okay, let's go to the next page. Okay, here's the next page. So now we have some different words. It says, how do we translate real-world context to expressions and equations? In questions with real-world contexts, the mathematical operations are often described by action verbs, or comparative phrases. So you've probably heard these before. So here is another chart with things you've probably seen. So B more than A, oops, sorry guys. B more than A. Again, more than is one of those words that makes you put the B part second. Just like less than, you switch it to. So increased by is plus B. B less than A, you have to put that part second. B is less than A. If I said 5 less than 10, it'd be 10 minus 5. decrease by, reduce by, double or twice would be 2 times, triple would be 3 times. So those are just some words that you'll see. So let's go to the next page. This is where we're actually going to try it. So here we go. Examples. 19 less than B. Okay, so first I'm a squiggly line, less than. Less than is a backwards word, which means this guy goes first in your equation. This guy goes second when you're writing it. If you guys are 10 years less than my age, I would take my age minus 10, right? So less than is subtraction. So I'm going to put a subtraction sign. So since a less than is a backwards word, you have to do B first minus 19. And that's your final answer. Okay, the next example is x decreased by 12. So the word decreased by, is it addition? Sorry guys, the bells are still going. Is decreased by addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? You should say subtraction. When you decrease something, you're taking it away. So x decreased by 12 is just the letter x, subtract 12. Okay? We then have we try problems. So 6 squared. Hopefully y'all remember me saying the word squared previously before you left. So 6 squared is 6, and then squared is an exponent, and it should be an exponent of 2. So it's just a little 6 and then a little baby 2 up top. Okay, 16 decreased by n. Remember, decreased, we used it above. It should be subtraction. 16 decreased by n would just be 16 minus n. Do some of these look weird because some have numbers, some have letters, some might have both letters? Yeah, that's okay. So you go ahead and try the next 4. And I believe these are our last 4 problems for today. Let me see. Yep. So try these last 4. Pause this video. And when you unpause it, you can check your answers. Okay, here are your last 4 answers. A minus 20, 2 plus 10. Number 3 was a little different. It said subtract 4 from 5 times x, which means you have to do the 5 times x together. And whenever it says subtract 4 from is one of those backwards words, so 4 has to go last. And then number 4 says 3 times the sum of 2 and z. So it means 3 is being multiplied all of this. So I put the 2 and z together, which is the 2 plus z part, and the 3 times all of that, which is why I put it in parentheses. So that one was a little hard, so you might have forgot to put parentheses around it. So that's all I have for you today. Make sure you filled in all of these notes because you do have to turn them in. If you have any questions, send me an email.